to the Clareview Youth Podcast, a space full of real stories, real experiences, and real inspiration for the youth of our community. Today, we're glad to welcome our special guest, who is a true Clareview success story. He grew up here, went to our schools, and started working at the Sobeys Belmont over 20 years ago. And today, he's now the proud owner of that very store. My name is Zoe.
And my name is Believe.
And today, we're very glad to welcome Jerry MacLachlan, who is an inspirational example of what happens when you stay focused, put in the work, and believe in yourself. His journey is all about determination, resilience, and community pride. So without further ado, grab your headphones, take a seat, and let's jump right in.
So guys, now we're welcoming our special guest, and guys, I would like to just ask a few questions that, basic questions. So how are you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
That's good. How was your day so far, with work and everything?
Busy, action-packed. It's getting ready for the long weekend, and yeah, we love serving our community, so certainly a labor of love today here.
That's very good. So we're happy to welcome you over here, and we want to just ask you some nice questions about how has it been throughout your business journeys and everything that you have been through. So just give us a small rundown of what you have been through and all of that.
Sure. Well, I'm born and raised basically in Clareview. I grew up in a townhouse that's actually right across the street from Belmont Sobeys. And I had no idea that it would become a Sobeys across the street, and I had no idea that I would be destined to own that store, but yeah, it's quite a story. I started at a neighborhood in my grandparents', at a grocery store in my grandparents' neighborhood, and my grandpa was the handyman. And so he got me the job, and the gentleman that owned the store, Cliff's IGA, and many do know it. It's a store from the north side. And the man treated me like friends and family, and there was an apartment upstairs, and so many of the people that would come to shop would come again and again, and so you became friends with the shoppers, and so it was really a sense of community, and that was the first time I ever come across community in a grocery store. And there were some folks that had gardens on the back side of the store, and they would grow different things, and they'd have extra tomatoes, let's say. And at the front of the store, there was apartments where there was a lot of renters and low income. And so they would share those tomatoes, and it was just funny. It was a melting pot, really. And so anyways, I started at that little grocery store, went on to some other jobs, but got on at Clareview IGA, where Giant Tiger is. That was a Clareview IGA store. And then in 1999, we moved to where Belmont Sobeys is, as Belmont Garden Market IGA, and then later became Belmont Sobeys. But yeah, I was a bag boy, and held many roles and worked my way up. And about 7 years ago, I became the owner-operator, and it's been one heck of a ride. I went to John D. Bracco, I went to Belmont School, I went to Kirkness School, I went to East Glen, Steel Heights, few schools, but yeah, I'm north side through and through.
Oh, okay. That's very nice. So, just a basic rundown of all of that, the way you said, right? I wanted to ask one specific question through all of those. When you were the first time that you got into that job, how did you feel when you got that opportunity to work in the community and help out your friends and family and other people that you don't even know and stuff like that?
Well, my mom always used to say, I started at McDonald's restaurant. My mom worked at McDonald's head office, actually, and so I got a job at McDonald's. So I learned a bit of structure there because, as we know, the burgers, they want them built certain ways, and they have recipes and so on. So anyway, starting at McDonald's, but my mom said something to me that always stuck with me even to today, is that you need the job more than it needs you. So she said, don't embarrass the family, do what you're told. And so I ran into work really with my head screwed on straight, where if somebody asked me to do something within reason, of course, I would never say no. And so that's really, that's where it started. So that's a bit of, integrity. If I said that I did it or I signed my name to something, then it got done. And so that kind of started to shine through. Some people talk, but I talk and walk. And that's sort of my story is, in today's day and age, you can put something online and not actually, live up to it. I try to pride myself on, if I say it, I do it. And so I build trust with people. I try to, walk my talk, and that's really how. But when you start a job, it's sort of like you just close your mouth, open your ears. What would you like me to do? And if you execute what you're being asked, then you can stand out if there's others that aren't doing things that way.
Okay. So just for the advice for the viewers and for the young people who are watching this, what would you give an advice based on what you just said just now? What would you give an advice to a person who's walking straight into like work and does not know anything about like working in a job or something like that? What advice would you give them?
Well, I'd really say that become a learner of whatever you're doing. It never hurts to learn, right? You might work at McDonald's, like I say. As in the position I'm in now, I look back at these different roles I had, and I took a little something from each. And so, to be a learner, to be nice, to be friendly, to be a good team member if you're on a team, that all pays off. You never know. You might work with somebody when you're, 16 years old, and then all of a sudden later in life you come across that same person. So, like I say, you don't realize it when you're in the moment, but you're really sort of laying down a legacy. Like at the end, if you retire, if you're lucky enough to retire and you find a rocking chair, like I like to say, it's like, what will people think of you? When you're sitting in that rocking chair, it's like, did you just do mediocre work, kind of, sort of, maybe walk your talk? Or can you sit there really accomplished and feel great about, the career you laid down, right?
Guys, you see what you're listening to? This is work, guys. You should listen to it.
You should listen to it more.
Excuse me. But anyways, so can you just like tell us, yes, I agree, going into work is good and all, but I know for a fact there's sometimes tough times that could happen on everybody's way. So I want to like ask, what kind of tough things would you like personally say that every single work would have, but like how to get through it without causing harm to yourself or anything like that? Because in this day and age, there's like so many struggles in life, and like some people who don't know how to handle it well. So how would you say that for the working people, for the youth that want to go and work, how would they handle the pressure when it comes to work?
Well, in this life that we're living with social media and all these other certain pressures, we get distracted. Sometimes an algorithm, a company will put something in front of you. You'll be doing something or buying something or eating something you didn't even know you wanted. And so what I really believe in is critical thinking. And so when I say that, and how does that work out in the work world? It's I carve out a certain time in my day where I get myself set up from the inside out. And what it really is just unplugging, and it's seeking out different TED Talks or what have you in YouTube, not just watching what the world wants me to watch as far as news and what have you. It's instead I get myself set up. And so when I do that, I wake up very early in the morning. I double check my phone, make sure I haven't missed anything important. And then I really just kind of go through a morning routine. And so when you do that, you set yourself up for whatever comes your way. And we operated our grocery store during COVID, and that was one of the most tenacious things. Of course, we all dealt with it, and we were able to create what's called the Golden Shopping Hour, that early morning for seniors. Mm-hmm. And we were able to do that because when I arrived, and again, it starts with the leader, right? They follow the leader, good, bad, or indifferent attitudes. And so when I arrived, the team followed my positive lead. And so, but it wasn't just out of nowhere, it was set up because I sat early morning and looked for some motivating moments and things, right? So, do you have any questions, Zoe?
Yeah, so what I find really interesting is that you, like we said before, you grew up here, went to school here, and you didn't go somewhere else. You stayed here, and I find that really poetic, kind of. So do you think that being like raised here plays a role in how you run your store?
So it's funny. It's funny you say that because I love California, actually, or at least we would visit there quite often in my youth. And so California, as you may know, it has the population of Canada just crammed into like that little state. And so when you're down there, there's so much going on. The freeways are fast and busy and what have you. And so it's a total different walk of life, right? And so when we would go down there, I'd get a taste of this hustle bustle, and then we'd come back and I would almost kiss the ground when I'd get home. And I'd think to myself, I'd be like, geez, like this is nice, calm, cool, collected. And really it was something that inspired me to kind of look at, I don't know if you guys look at this, Google Earth. If you look at the Earth, you get overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Think about everything that's going on in the Earth, right? And then you zone in, you go into the continent, North America, and then you get into Canada, province, city, and then all of a sudden your house, your block. Well, that's how great things are accomplished, right? It's by not getting overwhelmed, and it's because we live in fear, sort of, right? Like we wake up and there's always something to be worried about. There might be something going on in your day. And so I see the world, simply put, I believe in controlling your first footstep, and that can lead to something larger. Maybe you inspire people around you, then, and then it goes from there. And so for me, Clareview has always been one where you can have an impact. You don't have to travel far and wide. You can have an impact right at home. And we've been able to, at our store, the Belmont Sobeys store, we've been able to shine in our neighborhood. And of course, here I am on your podcast, and so pleased to be bringing this story to you guys and hoping others shine because of our example.
Okay, that's nice.
So, you worked a lot of positions before becoming the owner. So, I know you talked about being a bag boy. What's that?
Yeah, so basically at the store, Cliff's IGA, so it was that little corner store, basically you would go up if the cashier needed some extra help putting things into bags. You just did it. And so you didn't, at that stage in my career, you were being told what to do constantly. And then I became, as I changed locations and sort of, accomplished these things. Because that's the thing in a job. They want you to be competent at the job they teach you, right? Your attendance needs to be stable and consistent, right? So once it started to build trust with the bosses that I had, they would tap me over time. They would ask me, we have an opening. Are you going to apply for it, or would you like that role? And so I became what they call Jerry from the dairy. I used to order milk, eggs, and butter for the grocery store, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was because my attendance. I was always on time. I was always, my attendance. I didn't miss many days. They could count on me. And so eggs, milk, and butter, of course, those are the staples of a grocery shop. And so that's kind of where, like I said, I just sort of, what would you like me to do? And I became a student of the grocery business. And but see, what you guys are feeling is I bumped into also the notion of leadership and servant leadership, really, at that. And so as I started to move up and I started to look after teams, I started to realize it's less about me and my individual contribution at the store as far as being a doer. It's rather supporting the people around me to give them the tools, training, and otherwise for them to be able to do their job well. And so so at this stage now, that's what I do. I support my team. I get them anything they need. I try to look them deep in the eyes, make sure they're feeling good, and they help me bring everything to life, right? So that's what's happening really at the store. But so it was I bumped into leadership, and I became a learner, and so. Yeah, that's kind of how things go for me.
So speaking of learning,
yes.
Which roles taught you the hardest lessons?
Taught me the hardest lessons? Well, of course, entry level, right? Because, I remember back when I got my first job, and it was at McDonald's, I just remember you realize you don't have freedom. And the one thing I struggled with always is working at McDonald's. They had me take out the garbage, and you go outside and there's the sun, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe a job keeps you away from the sun. I don't know. I just remember being cool. I really hated the fact that you had to stay inside so much. I don't know. Even the word work sounds hard, right? And so, and I'm the owner of the store, trust me. And so that was my sort of my focus when I created, the way we wanted to go to business under my ownership at Belmont Sobeys. I said, you know what, we can have some fun while we do it too, right? And so, there's a certain way we want to do things, but you know what, let's never forget about fun. And so I'll tell you, the hardest part was entry level, and then like I say, the fear doesn't go away. And, you know, courage, you got to have courage to take on new roles. And courage means that you're scared, but you do stuff anyway. It's not that you're not scared, but you just do it anyway. And I've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's, you know, but it never goes away. Like, I mean, I'm nervous now. You guys are great. And so it's like, but, you know, like I say, I hope somebody takes something away from this. It's, you know, success is there for everybody. And I mean, yeah, I'm just a Clareview kid. And I just happen to find my avenue.
That's nice. So, what was like, okay, since we're busy talking so much about fears and all, let's just lighten the mood, guys. Okay?
All right.
So, what is the best part of being owner in Sobeys?
Well, definitely, like I say, I have so many incredible people on my team. And so just to think that, you know, I've been given the incredible honor to make sure that they have what they need. And, you know, there's times where we all have life in this wild world, and sometimes things happen. And so when people need some consideration, you know, if it's time off, if it's time away, I'm blessed to have a team that steps right up, and we always look after each other. So we're like a family. And, you know, sometimes in you know, a corporate world, or if it's you know, a different you know, they have different bosses, you know, every time I do that for one, then people hear about it, you know, supporting people. And really, like I say, it's just the basics. When you care about somebody, you'll do things for them. And I love the heck out of my team members. So, yeah, it's easy peasy for me, but not everybody really. It's not always looked at like that. Sometimes it's people just, you know, people come second some places, and not at my store. I really try to support them as best I can. So it's the people I love the customers too. Don't get me wrong. It's neat because, you know, back at Cliffside, GA, where you made friends with the customers that were living upstairs in the apartment attached. In our store now, it's just people come back again and again to come and see us, and they share all their, you know, if they bought a new car, or if they had a baby, or whatever it is. It's community, right? It's neat. It's really neat.
That's nice. So, were there any times where you actually just sat down and like thought about it and like decided on the way you're working right now, if you wanted to continue your business, or you ever thought of like quitting it? Were there ever those times?
No, but I do understand that, you know, there will be an end one day, you know, whatever that looks like, and that's kind of becoming, you know, as time goes on, you know, so I'm aware that, you know, if it's retirement or what have you, but yeah, I don't know. I used to joke with people and said, you know, they can just prop me up at the front door, and, you know, I'll just kind of lean against the wall up front, and no one needs to know that, you know, I've ever quit my job, because, like I say, I really, really love it. And, you know, it is challenging. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, I heard it once, you create a life you never need a vacation from. And recently my family and I went away, and during that trip, I was like, it was all about my daughter. You know, I didn't even need the vacation. It didn't feel like I needed the vacation, because honestly, I live a life I don't need vacation from.
Was there like any time that you ever like thought like not giving up? I won't say that, but like, how can I put this in words? Because I'm trying to put it. Okay, so was there ever a time, right, you decided like, you have your team, right? The way you said you have a great team. Was there a time when you were like working and all that you had like a problem and everything was like that, and your teammates were like finding ways to deal with it, but you thought another way was better, and like reaching out to them was kind of like a hustle or stuff like that?
Well, so, you know, working at that store since 1999, like, again, I'd been in a part-time, then a full-time role, and so I've seen it from that angle as well, right? So there were times, certainly, when I worked for others that I didn't agree with how they operated, right? There were moments where, you know, if I said, if I was the boss, I would do this and what have you, right?
Yes.
And, you know, there's an old saying that sometimes you learn what not to do from people. And so, like, I'm a curious guy, and I'm a learner. And so, like I say, I had no idea that I would be the owner of Belmont Sobeys. But as I started to work my way, I'd come across a situation. I would remember how it felt. I'd like to say I'm emotionally intelligent, and I sort of lead with empathy. I care. I really do care. I come across in the morning and I talk to different people, and I really, like I say, I look them in the eyes and I say, how are you? And if I don't feel like, the answer they give is real, I may circle back and really investigate, if there's anything they need. And so yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, there has been moments where you don't agree with things. There's, of course, there's team members that you ask them to do things and they don't do it. It challenges you, but you don't control what comes your way, just how you handle yourself. And so I really try to handle myself, in a tactful way, but I put myself in their shoes a lot of times. I'll say, okay, where are they coming from? Like, what's going on, and how can we have a fair outcome? And so, I don't know, it's tough, but I'm built for this. Like, I really just enjoy it, and that, like I say, I love people. So, when you want to see people do well, yeah, and sometimes it's do well with not in your organization. Sometimes people just have to move on, and so that's okay. You can invite them to go find a happier place to work, that'll make them happier, kind of thing. So find their happy place, right? So anyways, yeah.
Okay.
So can you walk us through the COVID years for Sobeys?
Oh boy. Okay, well, so yes, I will. So my daughter had a sore throat one morning, and so I wound up staying home with her, and she was quite young. And so while I was staying with her, I was watching TV, and I'd go between the channels CNN and Fox, and I think those two channels probably couldn't be the most polar opposites. But when there was one news story that was on both channels around the same time, I started to kind of listen a bit more, and they were saying there was this virus, and it talked about like a pneumonia and what have you. And so anyways, they said on the CDC, so the Center for Disease Control website, they're asking people that if they do test positive for this virus, they were going to ask them to isolate. And so I saw this. I went to the website and I saw the list of products, and I called my store. We had a group call, and they all bolstered and ordered everything that was on that list. So that was the starting point. Then I went to work, and then the next day, and whatever, things were just happening, and no, nothing had been shut down at this point. But anyways, I went home for dinner, and my phone buzzed, and it was a friend of mine that was at the store, and he was at the the milk counter on the other side of the store, and he says to me, "Hey man, can you get some more cashiers?" And it was because there was about 100 people in line for the checkouts, because the news had spread that this virus was on the move, and that they may shut things down. And so right away it was like, okay, it's go time. And I'm an old football player, and so right away I took it as every day I just run out of the tunnel. And so it was like, face whatever come what may. And so anyways, at the store, because I have such a engaged team and a caring team, when we went to the store, it was just, we're gonna do the best we can with what we got, and the rest we're gonna just kind of have to leave it. And one day I saw that toilet paper was really selling fast, and so we were trying to order it, but we weren't getting it in. And I saw this lady walking to go get the last package of toilet paper, and she was on her move. I could tell where she was going. And this elderly man who really was having a tough time getting around, he was going for that same package of toilet paper, and she looked over, saw him, and she just took it. Now, in that moment, I thought, how do seniors or the vulnerable, how are they going to get the supplies? People that are taking DATS buses, what have you, how are they going to be able to get the supplies that they're looking for? And so I said, you know what, let's save some product for them. So that night, we'd gotten a shipment of 40 cases of toilet paper. I put 20 at customer service for the seniors and for the vulnerable, right? And so that was the starting of it, and news had kind of spread, and everybody really thought that was a great idea. And then just one day I thought to myself, hey, if my grandparents were around, I'd open the store for them early, or I'd shop for them, but what if we could open early? And so, yeah, my partners at Sobeys there, we brought the idea to them, and they allowed us to open early, and it went all around the world. I put it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it went crazy. I went on Reddit, and I've been around the world. I've been in Mexico. They said they did it at their grocery stores, in Hawaii, in Puerto Rico, a lady told me, in Scotland. So we called it the golden shopping hour because seniors' years are supposed to be golden, right? And so if you research it, you can see Belmont Sobeys. We started it. The Premier of Alberta came to our store to thank us for it a couple times. And hopefully it saved some lives. But a lady from, the first person that reached out to the store, she was from ABC News San Francisco. And I guess they have a large senior population in the Bay Area and California. And so she said, what an idea. And so she spread it on Twitter and so on. But I did talk radio in Toronto. I did, all sorts of things. It was in Maclean's magazine and the Globe and Mail, and all sorts of things. So little story from Clareview, right? Like I said, micro to macro, right? Like these little steps matter, and you can, just here in Clareview, you can have a worldwide impact, and we proved it.
Yeah, it seems like your reputation precedes you.
Yeah, so true.
I want to be known for good, really.
That's nice. And honestly, since I have known you, not personally, but throughout the things that you've done for Clareview and the things that you've hosted, I genuinely feel that you're such a good person to do that, to host every single thing and all of that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't know if people thank you enough, but thank you so much for it. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to be talking about let's go back.
You guys are gonna get me crying here.
So let's go back to the advices for youth, right? So let's say, for example, let's say a Clareview youth person wanted to start a business. What are the 3 steps that they have to focus or mainly focus on when starting a business or trying to work?
So I say it this way: dream, plan, do. Okay? Well, so a lot of times people, they think they want to do something, and they're looking for how can I make money? How can I do this? How can I sell this? How can, let's say sneaker resale. How do I do it? How do I get sneakers wholesale? Okay? The first thing you have to do is, what do you want to do? And you got to laser in, be as specific as possible. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Okay? Why do you want to do it? Because you have to find a why that's going to stick with you through the tough times, and it will get tough. And then how? Well, then you can start looking for how. Now, I'm going to share. Success leaves clues. What? There's people that probably, if you seek it out, whatever it is you want to do, they've probably already tried it. So why start from ground zero? Why not stand on the shoulder of others? It's not cheating or copycatting. It's seeking out something. So, for instance, the first person that climbed Mount Everest, it might have been novel to set out to try to climb Mount Everest. But after one did it, what do you think happened?
A lot of people.
Many did it. Now, do you think those people, did they research how they did it, or did they just start over from scratch and ignore that first climber?
Research what they did?
Of course. And so that's where they found, this way. So the dream, go back to dream, plan, do, okay? That's me. I love Walt Disney. I love Disneyland. So first you have to dream it up. But here's the part I'm going to caution everybody. Lots of people come up with a dream, okay? And they tell their next door neighbor, and they go, how the heck are you going to do that? They tell their best friend, and they go, yeah, right, yeah, you're crazy, right? So the thing is, your dream, before you tell anybody about it, you really have to lock in and decide it's what you want to do, okay?
So true.
So that's the dream part, okay? Because I'll tell you, you post it online, there's going to be haters, there's going to be dismissers, there's going to be everybody taking you down a notch, right? Mm-hmm. So first things first is, a lot of people have a dream, but they never act on it. So first things first, you got to lock that dream in, okay? Second, you got to plan, okay? And again, I would do it while you're quiet about your dream. I would figure out a plan, okay? Now, the plan is probably, like I say, research. Has anybody done what I'm talking about doing? Has anybody opened a business like what I'm talking about doing? Now, if they have, well then, like I say, Everest, Figure out what they've done. Success leaves clues. So if somebody's successful at what you're setting out to do, that may be a good starting point. And you may be able to beg, borrow, and take a little bit from. Okay? And then the next part, I should have said, instead of just do is too easy. Just do it. Now, what do I mean by just? The just is, why do you think everybody wants something, but not everybody has that something? Self-doubt. Fear, right? Lack of confidence. Friends and family going, yeah, I'm right. Okay? So that's the part. No matter what, if you can lock in and find that push to just do it. Okay? I love Nike too. But, so next thing you know, because what you're looking for, you're not looking from 0 to success. You're looking because progress equals happiness. So what you're doing is, when you take action, okay, you want to monitor for a result. So let's just say we're stuck, we're not sure what we want to do. We want to make a business plan, we do whatever, and we just sit here and that's all we do. Just every time we get together, we just sit around and talk about it, and we're like, we're going to get down on ourselves, we're going to give up on it. But what if we say, why don't we try this? So next thing you know, you try it and you monitor for the result. Next thing you know, you go, man, we got one. Well, if you can get one, you begin this state of belief. So if you believe there's potential, and you create an action plan and take action and monitor for a result, it'll reinforce your belief. When you're believing there's potential, you'll take more action. Next thing you know, you're off the ground. So, dream, plan, just do it. That's how you do it.
That's a very good.
I need to write that down.
Me too. I need to write down the
book coming soon.
Of
Right,
course,
that-
whatever you need to write
I think that's a really good piece of advice. Because I know, self-confidence, how do I say this? Self-confidence is overhyped but underrated. People don't really understand it. So it was nice listening to you talking about how self-confidence could be just that one thing that you need to push forward.
That's so true. And one thing that just really hit me and really made me lock in what you just said was that when you were telling us about just do it, you were right about it, because when you're saying that, oh, you should just do it and all, most of the time, I'll be honest, a lot of young youth feel that self-doubt with all the social media, as you said, all the social media, the people that you see and all. Even I am the same, okay? I'm not perfect as well. And sometimes I want to do something, but I see can I do this? Can I do this? And sometimes I just jump right in. For example, guys, I just came from practice, right? I had this self-doubt of me not going to do volleyball and stuff. And I was like, no, my friends decided, you know what, you worked so hard, you did your best and everything like that, just do it. No, there's nothing that you're gonna lose. Just do it. Hope for the best. And I did it, and I continued, and yeah, going to wait for the results. And actually, I really don't even care about the results. As long as I had fun and all of that, that's actually what I was looking for and doing. So when you said just do it, it really just made me hear what you said. And
so
yeah.
You went to practice today?
Yeah, I went to practice today.
So before you had intrepidation, you're scared, what have you.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, now sitting, you're looking back. What was I thinking? Why was I so in my head? What the heck? And I say this to a lot of my team members. If I see somebody going through it, I say to them quite often. I say, next year on this exact day, at this exact time, are you going to remember what you're sweating right now?
Oh wait, hold on. So I have to write that down. Hold on.
That's so true.
On this day next year, this exact day at this exact time, are you going to be sweating this? And everybody says no. There's also a saying I heard is, now maybe you folks are young, I mean maybe the viewers can relate to this. 9/11, I think many people knew where they were. That moment, the world stopped. 9/10, when you ask somebody where they were at said time on 9/10, they'd have no idea.
Yep.
So that you have to keep in perspective, right? It's the small things, don't sweat the small things because they're all small, right? And so that's a big part of my story too, is, like I say, I mean, I'm going to tell you guys straight, everyone, including you in there. It's not that I don't get scared. It's not like I don't live in some sort of fear. The reality is that I still do it. I just do it.
That's very much words of wisdom. Guys, you should listen, okay? Because he's giving wise words over here. But yes, thank you so much for those wise words. I really appreciate it. And like, going forward, I wanted to also ask this, even though I don't know if this is I know something, but like, what would you see yourself maybe doing in, let me say, 5 years time from now?
I could probably see myself either consulting, because I'm starting to realize that my mindset is my strength. Is that there's many people that are stuck in certain ways, certain mindsets, and they're not sure where to take it to the next level, right? And so either consulting, or also a few have said maybe I should look at doing some motivational speaking. And that part of it is like, it's kind of humbling, because it's like, really, what?
Yeah, I can see that.
Me too. I really see that.
And this is the first time I'll ever say this. I heard it twice today, and I've heard it the last little while. Different people talk about running for city council, and that's not necessarily my thing. But I do want to, I do like impacting people in a positive way. So yeah.
I feel like if you run for it, I feel like Canada will be a better world. I just know it. But yeah, okay guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back soon. So stay tuned to the next thing, okay? Thank you.